Welcome to Promote, Profit, Publish. I'm your host, Juliette Clark, and today we have one of our trainings. So if you are listening on the podcast and you want to see the slides, you want to see what's going on, what Parchelle is sharing for us, go over to our YouTube channel, Superbrand Publishing, and you can watch the video over there. Might be something you want to listen to first and then go, oh, wow, I'm really interested in seeing those slides. So either way, please listen. And for those of you who are new, we have a lot of new people on the call today. Don't forget to go over and get your free subscription to Breakthrough Author Magazine. You can find that at breakthroughauthormagazine.com. And also, we just started a book club over on Amazon. You can go over and find that if you go to Breakthrough Authors with an S, bookclub.com, and you're going to have to log into your Amazon account. And we started that because we are really excited to be able to do something that no other book club is doing, and that is give you access to the authors. So Q&A, the authors are allowed to share videos, they're allowed to do all sorts of stuff and communicate directly with you. So if you really liked a book or you have something going on, that is the place to go. And lastly, we have entered into a new partnership with an audio company that has the very same philosophy we do about not taking any of your back-end profits. So starting on February 15th, we will be putting audiobooks into our packages. And even if you've already published and you have an audiobook you'd like to produce, we'd love to hear from you. This is one of the only companies that will allow you and give you a producer that will actually allow you to read your own book. And if you're a podcaster, if you're an influencer, if you're someone who has an audience already, you definitely want to read your own book. So let us know what's going on, if this is something that interests you. So today's guest, I'm super excited about. It's Parchelle Tashi, and she's an award-winning creative entrepreneur, popular podcast host, and the creator of The Author's Leverage, a former high school math teacher. Are you all jealous? Because I can't do math. Like, I topped out at calculus. She's an education design architect and video producer with a master's in curriculum and instruction from Virginia Tech. Parchelle lives and works in Las Vegas now, where she spends her time brainstorming ways to help other creatives get more bang for their books. She and her team specialize in creating high-end, memorable, impactful online courses for authors and creators who want to establish automated and residual revenue streams. I can't read in addition to having tech problems. Her combined expertise in production, education, and business growth come together to help authors create online courses based in their best-selling books, saving them time and creating a revenue stream for their business. A teacher at heart, she's going to share some amazing workbooks that she's been putting together on Notion. And if you're not using Notion, you're missing out because it's an incredible platform. Parchelle introduced it to me, and we are using it for we are using it for all sorts of stuff now. The magazine, royalties, the podcast, everything. So Parchelle, take it away.
Juliette, thank you so much. You are so sweet. And you guys, Juliette, I've been connected with her over the last year, and it's just been an honor and a privilege just to meet someone who's so passionate about what she's doing. I still have her gratitude journal, which she gifted me, and it's just been a part of my life now, just as a reminder to be grateful. So I'm excited to be here. I am excited also. I'm listening to the introduction and I'm thinking, man, it's 2024, right? And I probably should update my bio. But I'm excited to actually share with you guys digital workbooks today because I'm so excited about this that our service offering of creating online courses is completely shift to this in this direction. And so I'm excited to jump in and share that with you all today. I see some familiar faces here as well, so I'm really grateful. I feel like I'm just hanging out with friends. So thank you guys for being here. I want to start off by asking you guys a question, and then I'm going to jump into actually showing you what a digital workbook looks like. I'll give you some examples there. My question is, let's say that there is something in your business, in your life, that if the needle were to move 5 to 10% better, right? If I got improvement in this area, it would completely change the trajectory of my life. But the only thing in the way from that is a skill building, something you need to learn, something you need to apply, something you need to actually gain in terms of information. In your mind, I'm curious, what would you imagine to be if you could paint the perfect learning experience for you, what would you want to happen? What would you see happening in that type of experience? All right, just want us to think about that. Again, you want to move the needle somewhere and you want to create a learning experience that is specific to you. It could be the expert themselves in front of you, right? It could be that you actually get to sit with them one-on-one. You actually are going through the process of whatever the steps are with the person right there with you, right? Some of these things might come to mind, and traditionally, online courses is where we have turned to for this type of learning. But I'm probably going to bet a few things just by asking the question, what's been your experience with online courses? Okay, I'm going to bet that the last one that you bought, you didn't complete. Right? I'll probably also bet that you're frustrated that like there hasn't been a lot of growth that's happened. And this has really shifted how we desire online courses, how we consume them. I saw an ad the other day for an online course that says, oh, you're going to get 8 hours of footage, of recorded videos around this topic. And it's just not even something that's exciting anymore when we talk about learning. And here's the reason why. The reason it feels different is because there's a difference between informational learning and what I'm going to talk about today, which is more practical application learning. And so it's part of the reason we're not enjoying the experience either is because we already have enough information. Am I right? The information is there. I could go on YouTube. I can go on TikTok. Even get it in 8 seconds to learn something, right? But what I want to introduce and just kind of talk about with you all today is it's not the information that we're struggling with. We're struggling with getting the thing done. Am I right? We are struggling with actually doing the learning of what we are learning. And we need something, honestly, that you can learn and work at the same time, right? And I think this is something that we're all craving today, right? How can I be in the act of learning something while still taking it in, right? And experiencing it. And this is something that I believe that we're craving today. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen now so you guys can take a look at Notion. I'm actually going to just share a few things with you guys here on my Notion page. Actually, I'm doing my presentation today in Notion, which is super exciting. And Notion is an open source platform that allows you to create really anything on a page. You can share this page. You can do a ton of things with it. Here's what I believe. If you're a business owner, if you're someone who is an author, someone who has a message to share, a practical application learning asset is the most effective and profitable asset you can have in your business today. Okay, and I'm introducing a couple of terms here. One is learning asset. The other, of course, is digital workbook, which we're going to, I'll show you some examples today. In particular, a learning asset is any tool that bridges the gap between your thought leadership and your customers' tangible growth and achievements. And there's different types of learning assets. I think we are probably familiar with most of them, but I've included a little list here. Right, we're familiar with digital courses, books, maybe worksheets or PDFs, private podcasts, content series, and of course, digital workbooks is a type of learning asset. And I believe that having one that applies to the learning of your methodology and the things that you teach can be really, really an effective tool in your business. A digital workbook in particular, I want us to not, I know that you probably think, oh, I know what a workbook is. I've seen a workbook before. What I'm going to show you today is probably not something that you've seen before. It really is, again, it's a type of learning asset, and it focuses on action and an integration. Remember, in the ideal sense, if I could be working while I'm learning at the same time, I'm really making a lot of strides and making use of my time as I'm learning things. Or building up a particular skill. So today, here are the things that I want to share with you all. I want to introduce you to digital workbooks as as a type of learning asset. I'm going to share what this makes possible for you in your customer journey, in your customer's learning experience, and in your business ecosystem, right? We all have a flow in which we do things. I get someone that goes from not knowing who I am to becoming an ambassador for me. That entire ecosystem, it also has a huge effect on that. We'll also talk about the features of a digital workbook, and I'm going to demonstrate 3 of them for you today. As of 2024, going into this quarter, we're actually for the first time releasing digital workbooks into the market with our clients. So I'm excited to share some of those with you, and then also kind of introduce you to some ways that maybe would be helpful for you to identify, well, gosh, Parchelle, this is great. What kind of learning asset could I create, right? Because I know that we either have ideas or maybe you already have courses or PDFs or just information that you have stored somewhere. I want to also help you identify what's going to be the one thing that could really, again, move the needle in my business overall. How does that sound? I'm curious. Where's my chat? Where's the chat? You guys can just chat in here. Let me know. Is this sound good? Awesome. Interested. Sounds great. Good. In particular, and you guys like Notion, I'm really excited I'm using this today. I have Micah, who is on the call with me, who's part of Merkaba Technology, who's been a partner in this journey of creating these digital workbooks. So very, very excited that they're here with us today. Micah, I'm presenting in Notion. This is crazy. Okay, so, all right. So let me now introduce you to, again, a learning asset. Does everyone understand what I mean when I say like a learning asset is something that you've put in place for your customer that can be there, whether with you or not with you, that's going to bridge that gap between your methodology, the things that you teach, the things that you say, man, if you do these 4 steps, man, you're going to be here, right? It bridges the gap between that and their results and their achievements, okay? Again, a digital course is one of those. We all know how we feel right now. Think about online courses from before, but let me ask you this now. If you have a digital course, if you have some product, how many of your courses or other learning assets do you have that no one's paying attention to? How many of you guys have customers, let's say, that complain and come to you with the same stuff over and over again? I'm like, if you just would do these steps first, I could just bring you so much further, right? I could help you get there faster. We all have this. We all have this methodology, and if broken down and given into a learning experience where the person can be working as they are learning from you, that's what we want to go for. And that's the goal here. Now, when we shift and talk about specifically a digital workbook, again, it is not your regular PDF, right? I just want to, again, get us to think outside of that. It's not a PDF, and here's why. I don't like PDFs. Is it just me? For one, I lose my freaking PDFs all the time. I get my, download it. Maybe I fill some things in, maybe I don't. Maybe I'm just looking at it because it's pretty and I feel good that I got something, right? But after a while, I don't know where I store that on my computer. I'm getting better about it now before I, organize my life and things. But gosh, I lose those PDFs. I hardly ever reference them again. Let's say that I actually work with the person that sold me this PDF or I got this PDF from. I'm not going back to it, right? It's hardly referenced again. So how valuable was this tool in my learning for something that's so critical to my growth, right? And so with that, you only get but so far in the learning process. Now, I'm saying a lot of this and I'm kind of setting this up because you guys, I'm a teacher at heart. Learning is my thing. In particular, I taught math. So I can tell when people get something, you know what I mean? And learning and how people integrate and apply what they learn is just so interesting to me. So this is what my business is about. As Juliet said, I started the Author's Leverage around really helping the expert sit down and teach, and then I'm going to create a product for it. Right, that's sort of my goal. And so in particular, this type of learning asset of a digital workbook is new. We actually stumbled across this last year. But before then, you guys, with the Author's Leverage, I was strictly creating online courses. So I'm also saying this as as someone who has experienced creating online courses, been a consumer of online courses. There's something new that we can really experience. So excited for this. Let me talk about specifically for a digital workbook. Again, I want just to make these things clear so we have a clear picture before I demonstrate one, okay? A digital workbook has so much impact on your business, and mainly in these 3 areas: your customer journey, your customer experience, and in your business ecosystem. Specifically in your customer journey, here are the possibilities that come about, right? They're going to be able to experience their learning. This is huge. Again, we want to be able to create something that's going to allow us to do the work while we're learning. It creates stickiness. And what I mean by stickiness is that you keep coming back to it. It's something that's valuable. It's not something I just use once and then never see again because it wasn't worth much. It's sticky. So even when I get on to have my one-on-one with Gloria or with Amanda, right? Maybe we reference this sheet again, right? The workbook, right? It's also going to make a difference in the impact that they have, the completion rate. I didn't even talk about that with online courses. The completion rate is so low. I think right now it's less than, I want to say 8%, 7%. That's a problem. So now with something like a tool where it's broken down like this, again, I'm going to show you the completion rate of the experience of them getting that tangible result goes way higher. And you increase the overall life cycle, right? That's having them in your branding. Because I'm going to show you your digital workbook can be branded to you. Specifically in the customer experience, again, thinking about who is actually engaging with this. Having a personalized approach, something that incorporates, again, your style of learning, your methodology, but it's done from their comfort level. And they can actually be in the doing of the learning, right? And that's something that you want to push. Like, I feel like oftentimes our focus right now is on selling people just buying the thing, when I feel like we should be selling people in the doing of the thing. Right? Because that's where results are going to come from. Also creates an unforgettable experience and the opportunity for your branding to have continuity. Lastly, I'll talk about in your business, this creates an immediate value add to what you're already doing, right? If you're already coaching, you already bring someone through a preliminary few steps, that could be a digital workbook for them that preps them for that, right? It can fill the gaps in your business because you can be places that you can be everywhere you cannot, right? It can be where you are not. And this is really huge when we talk about the digital space of learning as well. You're able to strategize with these learning assets because let's say that you have 2 or 3 learning assets. You can leverage one depending upon the season, depending upon what you feel like you're hearing most from your audience. There's so much that's possible there when we talk about strategizing when you have an asset. Also increases results again for your clients. It's more predictable, right? That someone's going to get a win. That feels good to be able to say, get this workbook, spend 30 days with it, and you're going to be fine, whatever it is, right? And it opens up a new profit path, no matter what your business model is, or how you organize your services. One-to-one, one-to-many. You can even take a workbook and license it to an organization or corporation. It could be a lead magnet. It could be something you offer at the end of your speaking engagements. So let me now, I feel like I'm talking a lot. I want to just show you guys this now, show you a few examples. I'm going to go back to the chat here. I'm not sure, I probably missed some stuff, but okay. Yep. DIY. We want them doing so they can get the results we promised. Exactly. Gloria gets it. Gloria gets it. I hope you guys are getting this as well. This is really exciting for me, again, just and for a lot of my clients as well, just as this possibility. Really quickly, the features of an effective digital workbook is specific to a clear outcome, meaning there's a finite beginning and end. It's very easy to provide that with the digital workbook. It's actionable learning. We can integrate multimedia. This is my favorite part because I've been producing video for the last 10 years. So we can actually incorporate audio and incorporate personalized messages from you into your workbook, right? There are accountability tools that can be in there, journal exercise prompts, which is really powerful especially if you have a book. A lot of times at the end of our chapters, we have maybe 4 or 5 questions that they can reflect on, but where did they go to reflect on that? Okay, there's an opportunity there. Also, checklists can be included in this that, again, gives them a procedural method of how to get this result. We can include activity trackers, a way to track activity after a while, especially if there's the notion of building up a habit. Again, this can be a DIY or DWY application. For example, you could give that workbook and it's up to them to do it on their own, right? They can use that and get that result. It can easily become a done with you by, let's say that they schedule a strategy call with you or they schedule one of their calls. Guess what? You can jump on that call and say, all right, go ahead and share your screen. Let's take a look at your workbook. Let's take a look at where you've developed this far, right? All those things are possible. So again, you can also embed calls to action. I'll show you guys that, and organize your workflows in there. Okay. Let me now, who's excited to see a workbook, our example of a workbook? I'm going to start off with our first digital workbook that's ready now. This is a self-discovery workbook. And just to be clear and bring this up as well, our digital assets, our digital workbooks are built on Notion. And so what you're going to see, the way that Notion works is that, has anyone ever bought a Canva template before or seen a Canva template? You know what I mean by that? You get a template and then you bring it into your account and then you duplicate it so you can make it your own. This is the same concept with a digital workbook that's built out in Notion. All right. All right, let me go ahead and show. The first one I'm going to show you is a self-discovery workbook. So one of my clients is a business coach and strategist. She's also someone who has worked a lot in the space of really helping and holding CEOs through a process. And she realized that you can't talk about self-care if you don't know yourself. And it just was like, oh my God, it's so so profound. So her first step that she now has in place for her clients is to go through a self-discovery process with her. It is completely guided by her with the exercises and prompts that are there for her. So as you can see, this is Portia Michelle. We actually recorded the videos for this workbook. So you can see right here at the top, she actually introduces what this workbook is, and she gives you an idea of what you're going to experience in this workbook, how to make it your own. Once we scroll down, here's really where the meat of a digital workbook comes into play. I can create a collection of exercises, call these worksheets, okay? Each of these are individual worksheets within this workbook. They're going to bring them through those specific exercises. So one of hers is what brings you joy. When we click on this area, here's a video where she actually explains and goes through this process as a guide. All right, before you do this part, I want you guys to know this. It's going to be important that these things are remembered. And it's so interactive, it's so fun. And then right here is where one of my favorite parts of Notion comes into play. For everyone, there is a pre-made area for them to reflect on the questions and do the work that you've asked them to do. And how often is the work just to be within yourself, right? To process things, to think and to be connected with yourself. This allows that in the learning, right? And it's going to become more sticky. So again, as a student or one of her customers, you watch this video and then right as you're listening to the video, because she talks about the questions, you can go in and start actually filling these things in. Okay, I talked about before that we can also embed certain things in other functionality. So if we already know that we want for people to know that they can set up a call with us, maybe they got stuck here. Maybe there's something that really, really stuck out to them. Right here is a link to go straight to her calendar. Okay, so this creates a customized path for your learners in that way. Okay, so this, just trying to see what else we have here. Yeah, all of these are, as you can see, somewhat similar. Looking at, for example, what my magic is, here's again a separate page that's just specific to that. A place where they can reflect, listen to the video, and just be connected with her. Okay, so that's an example of one. Again, this is specific to a coach. And again, in her process, she's using it as an initial tool that's going to be there to help them with one of the biggest issues that there is when it comes to, being in business. So discovering yourself, knowing yourself, right? So that's one. Let me show you another one. Very, very different, I would say. This next one is a fire defense workbook for homeowners. This is very unique, very different, because it's like, what? Wait, what? All right. So my client, Grind Fire Defense, they are a family-run business in Redding, California, and they in particular help with mitigation, if you will, for homeowners who live in areas that are prone to wildfires. And so their belief was, well, if the homeowner could do what they could within the 0 to 10 feet of their house, it would do much more than not doing any of that mitigation at all. Okay, so this was put together by a wildland firefighter and his mom. And here you can kind of see a little bit more of a different approach of this particular workbook. So here, as you can see, another video pops up here. That's a welcome from the firefighter. There's instructions here. And then now we get into the meat. This, again, is a different style of this approach. We've broken up this resource for homeowners in these different ways. So for one, we want them to have a fire safety and evacuation plan. They're going to understand how fire behaves around their home and then know how to defend their home. And then there's additional resources. This is like a typical workbook, if you will, that goes into these areas. So I'll show you, for example, in part one, where we go into the fire safety and evacuation plan. Again, here's a video that plays from them right here in the beginning. And then there's things here. So for example, for a supply checklist, here's a checklist for them. These things can be checked off. Right? What are the things that need to be in your supply kit? What needs to go into your go bag? All of, those kinds of things as a checklist. There's also, when we go back to, let me see, specifically for a family communication plan. Same kind of deal. They actually kind of give some directions for them on how they can do this. Here's another area of checklist. And how cool is this? We can put emergency numbers here. This is something they can access on their phone, share with their family members so that they all maybe know what the meetup area is, right? It's covering a lot of bases. I know that this is a different type of learning, but it really is going through the process. So once they know how to behave, how to interact and behave in the event of a fire, they can also start to protect their home as well. So here again, there's different sections that help them go through this, even having a fun family exercise that we've laid out that a family can do together. There's a link here at the bottom, just kind of showing you guys some of the overall pieces here. There's a place at the bottom where, again, you can schedule a call to go through a virtual walkthrough with them because they have a membership that allows that. What else is here? And then in this particular area, I was able to actually incorporate a motion picture here that kind of shows, right? Here's 0 to 5 feet from your home, 5 to 30 feet from your home, and then further. So we can actually add interactive elements in here, again, that just repeat so we can understand the concept. And then here's specific things to do in each zone, right? So again, this is a good example, again, for a homeowner, something a little bit different. The last one I'm going to show you is for a strategic thought leader. She actually partners with a lot of larger organizations. She does a lot of consulting and speaking for them. And she actually has written a book as well. So this is her digital workbook based on her book. This is Tracy Green Washington out of North Carolina. So the name of her book is Choosing Purposeful Alignment. And she's created this program called the Align Intensive. And so we've taken those components in a similar fashion and created for her this workbook. There's a little different components as you see here. For example, she wants you to take this quiz first before you get started. So we're able to hyperlink a quiz in here right at the very beginning. And then once we get into these areas, we actually called these separate workbooks because they were so power-packed with so much. We ended up dividing them up in this way. But again, essentially, if we go into the workbook number 2, Leading to Transformation, here's, again, a different type of approach. For her, she has an entire masterclass that was already recorded. So again, instead of, right, think of the learning process here. Instead of me having a student come into this workbook to watch an hour-long masterclass, I'm linking them to watch the masterclass elsewhere, because the purpose of this digital workbook is for them to be in the work. You guys get where I'm going? It's a different approach here. You still have the option to take in that, but now here's where we can dive a little bit more into this actual work that needs to be done. So for hers, here's another video that introduces this section. And then again, going to each piece, there's another video that gives an overview as well as a place for them to reflect and hear another quick audio from her. So this is really neat. She said, you know what, after most time when people do their journaling, they just journal and then it's just like, all right, on to the next. And she wanted there to be a place just again, all right, is there anything else that came up for you? What are you missing? Go back one more time, just don't leave this process, right? Because that's what she would do if she were in person with her clients.
Parchelle, can I just interject right there?
Yeah.
So it looks like this is personal development. That would be a great place after your journal to put a meditation, either before or after.
Absolutely. I just love how creative we can get, right? It's about creating an experience for the learning and the method and the steps that you want someone to go through, right? As if you're there with them as much as possible. Also, one thing I'll mention here as well, again, because I'm a video person, I'm a teacher, I want to show you just a part of this video because what we were able to do was incorporate a timer in the video, right? So as they're watching the video, I don't know if it's going to.
I talk about
Let's see.
pause and reset. And the fourth one is about having awareness, referring.
I just want to get to. So here, she introduces the time to reflect. So some music starts along with the timer for them to actually take the time to go through this. How often do we just not have the time set to do it, So right here, as the video is playing, we can start to actually go in and reflect on these questions and then come back. So again, these are all of the possibilities that come together with a digital workbook. All right, so those are all the workbooks I wanted to show you guys. Let me see here. Just checking the chat really quick.
Yeah, did you see Laura had a question about is the time part of Notion? Is that timer part of Notion?
No, it's not. So I specifically created that video and then I included a timer in that video. However, you could embed just a timer. Let's say you just wanted a 5-minute timer that shows in there. You can also just plop that in, and it's just a timer that would run also. There's a lot of possibilities with these spaces, and it just really excites me just how customized we can make these. What I want to do now really quickly as we start to kind of land here is to ask you guys a few questions just to lead us into thinking around this, because maybe something is sparked for you as an idea. I want to think, what's a finite process, maybe from your book, maybe from the way that you work with your clients? Again, a finite process beginning to end, not my entire, body of work, right? What's a finite process that you feel would be amplified by having or adding a learning asset, right? What's, again, a finite process from beginning to end? Maybe it's 3 steps, 4 steps, a particular system, right? What is that process? What are those steps that you feel could be amplified if it were in a format like this? And where would you put it in your business, right? It could be put in your one-to-one, right? It could be in your highest paid engagement. It could be a lead magnet. It could be a low-cost offering, right? It could be attached to a corporate offer. Again, Tracy's that I showed you, we actually are strategizing with her. That's something that we also offer our clients, is strategy with these learning assets, right? What's the point of having it if you don't know what you're going to do with it? We have,
Parchelle? Oh.
yes.
So hi, I'm Linda Marsanico, and I wrote a book that's been published, The A Train to Sedona. And in the book, I have 12 tips. So the beginning of the tips would be, after I wrote, as I was writing and finishing, I went back and I thought, what guideposts could I use to help the reader? So the first is the intention to be on the path. The second is to take responsibility for our actions. The third is to be aware of our thoughts. And 4 and 5 are prayer and meditation, and it goes on. So that would be something that I could put in a digital workbook.
Absolutely. And I love just how personal that experience is, that it's like I'm doing it with you, right? Linda, you're guiding me through this. I'm hearing your voice of the process. You're encouraging me through the meditation and the reflection that I'm doing. That's huge.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think that, Parchelle, is the part that I love the most about this, is getting people into higher ticket programs is all about relationship. And whether you think you are or not, every time those people see you on video, they see your calendar there, they hear your voice, you're getting that relationship being built very passively without even thinking about it.
It's so true. It's so true. And I think oftentimes too, when I've thought about like online courses, it's typically been something that you had to think, you sell one-to-one only, in a as many students as there are, it's only a one-to-one, I'm just selling this one at a piece, right? But what's interesting about having a digital workbook also is that, for example, let's say that you have a $10,000 offer, a $10,000 yearly program or something. You can now add $1,000 to it because of this digital workbook experience and what now you can create with that. Again, a digital workbook is also very sticky, meaning that you as the expert, as the teacher, as the guide, can inspire and invite your students to share their workbook with you, right? You've invited them or they've invited you into that work because maybe they're in a higher tier engagement with you, okay? And I'm curious too, in this lane, like what could a product like this do for you? Like, is it going to help you create a new audience, to help you promote your book more, to help, maybe get people through the initial steps, maybe to make your coaching more effective? How often do you get on a coaching call and you're just still teaching on the same things, if you will? You know what I mean? It's like you want to be more effective if they've done a little bit of pre-work, if you will.
Parchelle, I think Laura has a question.
Oh, great. Let me see. Yeah.
I just wanted
Please
to
fire
say,
away.
I think to answer your question, what I'm excited about is I'm working with clients to help them move through this building a foundation of self-love for relationship and working through their issues. And there's so much of the same material, right? Everybody needs, but there's also this need for customization for their particular issues and work. And so for me, the idea that I could scale a whole bunch of the material, and yet I could have a notebook for one person that has, okay, they need a little bit of extra help with, shifting that core issue around abandonment, and we could go into that, and I can leave a personal message in their workbook, and I love the idea of working on it together, because I think most of us have tons of tools and using them is the real barrier. getting that, people familiar with the tool so they're comfortable in it and they're using it. I would just incorporate it into even group sessions, like we're all going to this, now we're going to do this. And I'm using so many pieces of media, and I feel like I just can't get them all in the same place without just giving people like a file location, but who wants a file location, So, so anyway, I'm excited about it and looking forward to the rest of the conversations. Thanks.
Oh, awesome. Thank you for sharing that, Lauren, because you're right. I think oftentimes there is the issue of I have so many different pieces of media. Like a lot of my clients have a lot of different options that are available. It's like, how can I bring it and streamline it into one area that's going to be effective? So this is exciting. What I want to do is have time for Q&A. Any other questions that come up? Before that, I do want to share, I'm actually releasing our own digital workbook this month. So excited about it. It's called the Leverage Plan Workbook, and it is specifically designed, again, for a lot of my clients, go through the stage of, to Lauren's point, like, which learning asset makes the most sense and would be the most impactful across all these areas: my customer journey, my customer experience, and my business. So this learning asset brings you through 4 steps, and I'm putting it on the market as well as a part of that entry with me. It's valued at $150, but I love Juliet. I want to give you guys here, I'm not only doing this with you all, a sneak peek of this workbook, really as a thank you to the group, as well as a thank you to us who are actually using and putting our expertise on the line, right? And sharing what we know, sharing our heart in this way. This is my life's work. I feel like is to help us identify what is going to be most impactful and effective to share with what I've learned, right? Because all we're doing is sharing what we've learned. The highest form of learning is teaching, right? And so that's what we're actually doing when we're sharing what we know. So I want to share that with you. It's not released yet, but I have a link that I can share with you. I'll put it in the chat now. So if you're interested in getting that workbook once it's released this month, sign up on this link. Let me grab it now. And then also, I'm doing a workshop in March called Leveraging a Learning Asset. So I'm going to be going specifically through that process as well, and that's going to happen in March. So that link is not linkable. Hold on. I want to save you guys from having to copy and paste. But that's really my only ask. I have nothing really to offer or sell. Just that if you're interested in jumping on a call to brainstorm and strategize with me, that'll be on that link as well, which I'm trying to get for you. But I would love to hear any questions or any other support or things that came up for you in the conversation today.
This is probably a weird question. Oh, there, your link worked.
There we go.
Because I'm not real techie, when we give people the link to the workbook, do they just go to where it is on Notion? Or do you have to like move it to a website, or what? How does that work?
That's a good question. So, and any of your students that access your workbook just need to have a Notion account, and a Notion account is free. So what you are providing them is a template that they put into their Notion account, and then they essentially just duplicate it. Now it's their own to work with. So the only thing that's required is a Notion account, which is free for the user. They can then have that Notion app on their phone, which is really user-friendly. And then it's also, of course, accessible on any tablet or on a desktop.
So you don't actually have to have another extra website or anything for it. You can do it all on Notion.
Correct.
That's cool.
Yeah. And if you guys, this is a super great system for organizing. And one of the best things about it is that, first of all, it's only $10 a month. And if you want to add an assistant, team members are $10 as well. But you can organize all of your work the way that you fit. So if you look at production management systems and systems like we use in our back offices, a lot of them, like, you have to follow their rules. What I love about this is you make a template, you spread it everywhere. And so it's super easy to connect and use because it's exactly the way you think. You don't have to learn something. You just have to design it, have it made into a template, and you're ready to go.
Absolutely.
Parchelle, I was just gonna say, one of the things I'm inspired by is really what you modeled for us without saying, but to use a notebook to teach. Because I've seen people with different methodologies for using their material as they go through like a Zoom session and a group coaching or whatever. And, going back and forth between different materials. And it just seems like it could make it really easy to teach too, without even it being, the interactive piece. So it seems like it's super versatile, which I really like.
Yeah, we're having a lot of fun with this. And I just actually put in the chat also a link to simply a checkout. So when you have a digital workbook, you wanted to make it, of course, easy for people to, let's say, either purchase or get for free. This is the way that you would deliver your workbook. Just want to show you guys this example. So did you guys see that link says checkya.com? Okay. So again, this is an example. What happens is I'm going to go purchase this workbook, and then I'm going to get an email. That email is going to have a link with instructions to have your Notion account set up. And then once you get into your Notion account, duplicate it. Those 2 steps. That is the process of delivery for them to have their own copy of your workbook that they can now work in and do with, and then start to engage with it. Hope that makes sense. I just wanted to also include that. Part of the process with our clients as well as we create the workbook, and we also create this checkout process as well.
I have one more question. Have you seen anybody use, because probably all of us are authors, I'm assuming, any unique ways of bringing your book content through besides just excerpts, but something, more than that?
Yeah, absolutely. So definitely the end of chapter questions is a good application to go into a workbook. There's also, because of the multimedia addition to this and what we can create is think about the conversations that are extensions of your book. Those could become private podcasts or could become audios that also get embedded in here. And then I will also say any other interviews, because I find that, of course, a lot of our books, we are always referencing other things. We're always, providing other resources to, let's say you reference another author or you reference, a website that someone should check out. You can also provide in your workbook a resources page. So all those things are also easily linkable, or you can just, have those references there as well. So those aspects I can see for sure with a book that can apply that way. Also, if the book has any sort of specific methodology, again, let's say you took the most compelling or the most powerful 4-step process from your book. That's another thing you can do as well. You don't have to take all the content of your book to convert it into a workbook. You can specifically take the part out that's going to be most aligned with boosting your business ecosystem and giving your customers a big win, right? If that can be in the form of an experience, you've also opened up the door for more wins with you and a close relationship with them as well.
And Laura, am I unmuted? Laura, on that as well, we are actually getting ready to launch an AI book marketing course where you can take your book, you run it through ChatGPT, put all of your content into Notion. There's a few other steps in there, but put all that into Notion and your content calendar is ready to go. You hand it off to your assistant and everything's
Nice.
there. So you can use, reuse, and I'll introduce you guys to Perplexity and some other things that'll make marketing your book much, much easier.
That's great. Thank you. Okay, so I'm just gonna ask one more since I don't say anything. Can you give us any tips around getting the marketing out there? Or have you seen anybody use this uniquely, like with YouTube, in terms of drawing people back to their squeeze pages, or or demonstrating what a workbook can do online in some way?
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of possibilities when it comes to the marketing. Since we are a little bit new in the release of these, this will be a new and fun experiment for us around the marketing side. But what I would say is that however you market, however you currently have things working for you in your business, this can just jump in and become an immediate value add. So one thing I want to say about a digital workbook is that it doesn't necessarily have to now mean, great, now I have to have a whole marketing ad campaign and go down this route for selling it. You could easily just have it to be an upgrade to your existing offer, right? It could be, again, a lead magnet that's in play for specific conversations. If you are a speaker, if you hit a lot of digital stages or speak at all, it can also be a great segue for that. Again, I just, when it comes to the marketing, there are so many strategies and so many ideas, but I think it takes us looking at what's currently working, right? And where can we best align this product with that market, in that direction. So strategy is a very big part as well that I've learned, again, having created courses with a lot of my clients in the past. Strategy is always an anchor, and we believe in it so much that we bookend all of our workbooks with a strategy at the beginning and a strategy at the end. Because I guarantee you already have something in motion that's working for you, that this can become a value add without you having to now, I need to hire a marketing person, I need to get a marketing team behind this. It can be very simple. So that's what I would say. There's not too much that's out there, I would say, in terms of seeing what the feedback has been. However, we are, as you can see, strategizing and really placing this as an asset that can be leveraged in your business in a number of ways.
Yeah. And just to give you an example, I don't know how many of you guys clicked on that checkout. That checkout right there is perfect when you're out speaking. It's a moderately priced product. I didn't buy it, but you send people to that checkout, and then within that workbook, you have a place for them to upgrade. So, it's just, you can tie it all together in that customer journey.
Exactly. Any other questions, feedback, thoughts? Again, you all are probably I'll say you're the first group to see digital workbooks this year. So I appreciate the feedback and what you're saying.
Yeah, so go follow those links and give her some feedback on it. She's shown me before. I think they're just amazing. And I took a very expensive course on how to create courses, and it's nothing compared to this. It's the boring, watch a video, look at the workbook, just like mine are, watch the video, look at the workbook. And so it's not really engaging because you're doing it kind of in pieces. So it really is a cool, engaging product. And as we move into 2024, we've got the economy is getting a little shaky. We've got presidential coming up. You're going to need products and services that are more engaging and build trust than anybody else's, because people are not going to be as willing to let go of that cash as they have been in the past. So you having a cutting edge, really bomb product is going to help tremendously.
Absolutely. And I want to also shout out Gail, who's on the call. Yeah, I don't know if you mind me sharing, but we initially started a course project together. And right as we entered into 2024, we made the decision to pivot. All the assets that we had created thus far for her course is now being put into a digital workbook. And Gail is an home organizer for people who have chronic disorganization. If you guys seen something like Hoarders or something like that, where there's just a challenge with getting their life organized, Gail has a 7-step method that she's laid out, and it's perfect for a workbook. And so I'm really glad that she jumped on board with that. Gail, thanks for hopping on. I didn't expect you to show your face, but yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I was just actually driving to a client location. I'm in the lobby, and I am beyond excited for this product. I cannot wait to see how it turns out. It's been in the pipeline, and then thanks to Parchelle's vision, it's now going to be something so different, so unique. And I'm like an also ran. I'm not someone who's an early adopter, but when Parcelle put this to me, I'm like, hell yeah, do it. Go ahead, full steam ahead. So
that's good. That's great. Parchelle, you should go after more of those fire. When I was looking at that, I'm a former Californian who used to get evacuated like every 2 or 3 years. So you should go after those fire companies with that. I'm sure people would love to experience that with it. So so everything here, all the links you've shared, we can share over on the podcast as well. Are you okay with that?
Absolutely.
Cool. Well, thank you. How do we get a hold of you besides LinkedIn? Do you have a calendar? Is there another way to get a hold of you if people want to sign up today and talk to you?
Absolutely. So on that link, again, if you want to have a sneak peek of my digital workbook that's going to go through the 4-step process of identifying a learning asset for you. Definitely check out that link I sent before. And then I'm just going to pop my Calendly in here as well so that you guys can access that if you want to schedule time just to brainstorm. I love doing this. This is so early. It is early stage, but as you can see, there's a lot of momentum. We're definitely excited for how this is coming together. So hop on my online, follow me on LinkedIn. I'm definitely going to be sharing more behind the scenes videos and content around digital workbooks and what we're doing in Notion. I'm actually also going to show how I use Notion to run my entire business. So a lot of functionality has also been put into Notion as well. So thanks to Merkaba, who's on the call with me. This has definitely been made possible. So you're going to be seeing more about that. And again, if there's any questions at all, please let me know. That link that I shared also, it has a little section at the bottom for feedback. So if, I would love your feedback as well. If you guys would just put that in that section also. But yeah, that would be great.
Great, thank you. And thank you everybody for showing up and your patience. I so appreciate it. If you're someone who would like to, because I know we have a couple people on the call that aren't my regular clients, if you're someone who would like to be included in our monthly trainings, reach out to me at superbrandpublishing@gmail.com and I will add you into my calendar when we send out the invites. And you just never know. Next month is Fran Acero, and she's going to be doing another YouTube. I think Fran and Cher, you guys just talked yesterday, didn't you, Fran and Parchelle, or this week? There are just little bitty things you can do to your YouTube channel that make all the world difference. She came in and she did a few little tweaks, and I started getting more subscribers immediately. Now I haven't kept them up. Full transparency. I haven't been doing everything I'm going to do, but you'd be amazed at just the little tweaks that will help you get more visibility on your YouTube channel as well. So Parchelle, thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking the time to do this for our audience today. And once again, Parchelle is a contributor to Breakthrough Author Magazine. So if you're not subscribed, please go over and get subscribed. Our theme this year is ditching the middleman, strategies to bypass the 55% distribution fees, because I know that's taken a lot out of all of your book profits. So thank you very much, and I will see you all next month.